Hi everyone, and welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast, where I pull out one of my interesting knitting projects every time and talk you through the details. My name is Anna. You can find me on Riddari as Obsti and on Instagram as Caledoniana. And as always, I'd really like to hear from you. I have no idea where all the views on my last podcast came from, because it was just 10 times what my episodes have got so far. So thank you everyone, and welcome to every new viewers. It's a pleasure to have you around here, and I hope you liked what you saw and will stick around. If there's any podcast I'm not aware of that gave me a shout out anywhere that brought you over here, please let me know, or just let me know how you found me. I'd really love to thank anyone who might have contributed to promoting my little podcast here. And yeah, just welcome back to everyone who's stuck around so far. And let's get into the knitting today. It's actually another sweater that I knit as a gift, this time for my boyfriend. It's the Riddari by Edinburgh. It's pretty much the quintessential, stereotypical boyfriend yoke sweater, I think. Everybody seems to knit them for their partners. And I understand why. It's a fun knit, it's classic, it's not too hard to do. I really like it. So my boyfriend is about 1.85 m tall, so rather a tall guy, and he's developed quite a round belly over the last few years. So he just needs large sizes, and he likes quite a bit of positive ease in his garments, which is why I decided on the largest size this sweater comes in. It's actually featured in this wonderful book, Knitting with Icelandic Wool. It's also available as a single pattern on Ravelry, but it's rather expensive for just one pattern, when less than 3 times the price of that one pattern gives you this whole book with about 60 patterns in it. So I really like it. Whatever, back to the sweater. It's written for Let Lopi, which I don't like to knit with really, because it's a single ply, and I cannot stand knitting single plies. I just keep splitting them all the time. So I chose to go with Drops Lima, which is a wool alpaca blend I've used before in many sweaters, including my first ever colorwork sweater, which I don't have here. I might have to steal it back from my mom for an episode one day. Maybe. She's away for winter. Whatever. Talking about Riddari. Yeah, it's knit in Drops Lima. I have no idea about the colors. Just dark grey, black, natural white, and whatever this green is called. I think it's just green. My boyfriend chose the colors. I hesitated quite a long time to knit him a sweater, because he has yet to prove his knitworthiness. For this one, I just knit him a pair of socks, which he never wears, because, well, he says he doesn't want to ruin them, but I think he just forgets about them. So that I broke down finding knit him a sweater was pretty much just because I wanted to knit it, and I think, well, I thought it would suit him better than me, and I just wanted to get him interested in my knitting. So yeah, I forced him to choose his colors, which he did, and I think he did quite a good job on it, and started right away. This is just traditionally knit bottom up. As always, I started with the sleeves, just as a gauge swatch. I used the, gosh, it's pilling like crazy. He's been wearing it recently. He's been wearing it quite a lot because it got quite cold, and he actually requested another one. But yeah, well, I knitted bottom up. I used the recommended needle size, which is 4.5 millimeters. I think it's supposed to have a gauge of around 18 stitches per 10 centimeters, but gauge, don't quote me on that. This sweater has a quite unusual cuff, because you first started in the main color and just knit plain for 4 rows. Is it 4 rows? I think it's 4 rows. Just a few rows plain stockinette, so you have a slightly rolled edge here. And then it's a few rows of ribbing to stop the rolling in, well, the main contrast color, which is black in this case, and a bit of color work, and then you go back to the main color, just as you do, increasing along. And it also has this kind of cuff on the bottom hem, and I really don't like it. It just rolls up so much. So if I were to do it again, I'd just do a longer ribbed cuff. It's just 2x2 ribbing, so if I'd just done the ribbing for that additional 4 rows that's rolling up here, I think it would just have been a more stable cuff, that's especially in the bottom hem on the body, because it's rolling up all the time whenever he sits down. So yeah, I can't recommend this rolled edge really. I don't like it, I wouldn't do it again, but I followed the pattern as written. So for the time being, we have to live with it. Yeah, just knit both sleeves, which I do one at a time on DPNs as far as I can get, and then on 40 centimeter circular 16-inch. I just prefer DPNs for everything, which is not a long circular needle. I really don't enjoy those short circulars, so I stretch it on DPNs as far as I can get on my tiny DPNs. Did I ever show you my DPNs? They are just extremely cheap bamboo ones. They were the first ones I got off Amazon when I just first started knitting, so the lighter ones in this case. And then I loved them so much I bought another set of them. They are from 2mm up to 5mm, all sizes in between, 5 of each size. Very short, just 12 centimeters. I love them to death. This first lighter set cost me €4, or 3 even. And the second slightly darker set I bought 2 years later, and the prices had gone up to €5. But extremely cheap, and as I said, I love them to death. The sizes I use very often, 2.5mm for socks, and especially 3mm for sweaters like the one I'm wearing, the Diamond Valley. Completely discolored because I've used yarn that gave off its color. And I made this case for myself. They just came packed in plastic. I absolutely love those. I really can't imagine not having them. But they are so short that you cannot really go too far on a sleeve of this size before you have to change to a circular needle. Or now that I have the second set, I can just use more DPNs, which I'm probably going to do if I ever knit him another sweater. Whatever. Both sleeves were done and put on hold, then the body, which for a man I just do without any waist shaping at all. Next time I might do some increases in the front, just to give him a little bit more room for his belly. He doesn't want to hear about that, but I'm just going to do it. So yeah, just lots and lots of plain stockinette, which for me goes quite quickly because I really enjoy it and I can just do it while doing whatever else, reading or watching a movie. So then sleeves and body are joined on one needle, and you start the color work, which has a few rounds of 3 colors in this one. This was my first time doing that with more than 2 colors per round, and it's really not that hard. I'm a continental knitter, so I keep both colors on my left forefinger and I can just easily add another one. In this one, the longest floats ever was 7 stitches, so I just didn't catch any floats on those rows. But I have since figured out how to do that as well. It's not devil's work, it's quite easy actually. So yeah, up to there I just follow the pattern as written, and as I said, I'm not too happy about the cuffs. But then I just added a few sets of short rows, I think 2 or 3 sets, just a few more rows in the back to bring the neck slightly up. I think for myself I would have liked even more, because I really like a very high neck, but on my boyfriend it really sits quite well. And he does like the sweater now that he started wearing it, and it does show somewhere right now. It has completely felted under the arms already, but it's under the arms. Sweaters will do that in those places, so I'm not really worried about it. It does fit him well. It's the largest size and gives him about 10 centimeters of positive ease, which he wanted, but the body is too short. Even in this wool alpaca blend, which I knit significantly longer already than the pattern calls for, it is too short. I have no idea what it is about the men I knit for. They all have very, very long torsos, I think. Although, my boyfriend doesn't have that long a torso. Because he's 20 centimeters taller than I am, and I do have a long torso for my height. But he's 20 centimeters taller, and it's all legs, so in proportion, his torso is quite a bit shorter than mine. But still, everything is too short on him. Even t-shirts, if you go up in sizes, at some point they just start to go wider and not longer. So everything is just too short for him. And I already lengthened this the body of the sweater significantly, I think by almost 10 centimeters. And it's still, whenever he holds his arms up, his whole belly is revealed, and if he has his arms down, it just sits right on top of his jeans, so it's really, really short. I don't know what it is, because it's written by an Icelandic woman, even if she thinks of only the men in her society, in her vicinity. Icelanders are tall. They are really, really tall, usually, most of the time, in general, on average. So why on earth are all sweaters this short? Well, on me, obviously, it's a dress, but on him, it's really just too short. I won't go back and lengthen this one. I have almost done it on the Outmorgancy I talked about last time, but I won't do it on this because of the color work and everything here. I wouldn't, well, it just wouldn't look right to knit it top down, and I really don't want to go and graft all those stitches around, so he just has to live with it. And at some point I will knit him another sweater, which he has already picked also from this book. I can just, maybe I can find it and show you. It is a cardigan in here, but he wants me to convert it to just a sweater or jumper, pullover, whatever you want to call it. And it's written for Olafoslopi, which is the bulky weight by Eastex. And that's the one. Outni. This is the cardigan he wants me to convert into another pullover jumper sweater for him. And yeah, it's written for Olafoslopi, which is usually knit on 6mm needles, but he wants me to use Drops Alaska for it, which I tend to knit on 5mm and at a slightly tighter gauge than the pattern calls for Olafoslopi. So I'll have to do some math, but I think I'll just be fine. I just take the largest size and hope for the best, I think. And I will remember to just make the body even longer, because what's the point in a too short jumper? So yeah, that's it on the Riddari. As I said, he didn't wear it for a year, and now he has started to wear it all the time. So really has proven that he actually is knit-worthy after 2 years of me knitting. And yeah, he has started to at least show an interest in whatever I'm knitting him. And he does like yokes, which is good because I like knitting them. So he will get another one eventually whenever I finish my next sweater, and maybe 1 or 2 of those I plan to design for myself. I still need to chart the yoke on the thistle sweater or cardigan, but let's not get into that too deeply. Also, thank you Joe, who commented on my last video and wished me a wonderful time in Edinburgh. I did have it. I actually managed to get to all the yarn shops, even the ones I haven't seen before, and I spent quite a lot of money. I even already finished knitting a hat and a pair of fingerless mitts from the, what's it called, the Croft Shetland Tweed by West Yorkshire Spinners in the, I think, moss pink colorway. I've been looking at this yarn since it came out and just wanted it, but couldn't justify buying it because it's rather expensive for me. But I just finally broke down and decided a souvenir skein. It has to be, and it actually, I managed to get a pair of fingerless mitts and a hat out of it, and have still this much left over to put in my granny stripe blanket, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, it just, the weather was quite nice. It just short showers of rain but a lot of sun, and it's just Edinburgh. I've been there so much that it doesn't take much of adjustment to just be there and enjoy it. And we had a very nice flat right in the center, so everything was in walking distance. Yeah, it was just lovely. So what else? I don't think I have much more to talk about today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode again, and I think I'll be back next week. I hope to get back to a somewhat consistent recording schedule, but we shall see. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!